That was not in the spell books. Try!
My prescription, a bit of bloodletting. A highly curious case.
I warned you.
Where is he? Tell me where!
Nilfgaard had the upper hand, yet the black-clad spirits had suffered. They now made more use of shields than of swords. When Meve finally broke through their line, they raised their arms in surrender. Alas, the general had disappeared. A prisoner revealed Epdahi had fled as soon as the Lyrians had surged towards the... Meve cursed her luck and leaned back against a merlin. Dawn was yet a few hours off, but the horizon had already begun to glow blood red. The Nilfgaardian reserves now drew near. That night the war turned, with the battle for Rivia Castle as its fulcrum. Come on. Get them shit. The armies of the north had united and now seemed to be on the attack everywhere. Imperial forces, while still far more numerous, lay stretched over thousands of miles. Their position was untenable, and Nilfgaard's commanders knew this. In a decisive battle, they yet stood a chance, so they gave said battle, and suffered a resounding defeat. Just a few months on from that memorable night in Rivia, the Imperial army was in utter disarray. Aldersburg, the fortress, remained a last point of resistance. General Epdahi and what had survived of Army Group East had dug in there, this place, where Nilfgaard had triumphed grandly in the war's early days, would now bear witness to its impending defeat. It seems history, after all, has a sense of justice, or humor, or both. Though Meve had already reclaimed her realm, she refused to retire her sword just yet. For King Demavend had requested her aid in purging Edirn of the invader. How could she refuse? She owed the king a favor, firstly. Yet she also had a burning desire to settle the score with Epdahi.
Demavend's envoy and I spoke, Your Majesty. The king has Aldersburg surrounded. He awaits and won't begin—
Good. I truly hate to miss it.
Of course, you—
Yes?
Pardon my boldness, Your Grace, but—
I think back to that night in Perhaps I made a mistake.
He didn't, Your Majesty. He needn't have been there at all. I'm a soldier. I swore to serve you. Guilt, pity trouble you, Your Grace. I know. But he signed on willingly and knew exactly— There's no greater proof of friendship. No greater gift one can give.
You're right. We've talked enough. Oh, look, 'tis Meve, slayer of the—
The Lyrian army had grown into a great serpent. So much so that riding at the column's tail, Meve could not see its head. Footmen Suddenly, Meve heard angry cries and the clash of steel against steel, or—
New orders? No?
I live to serve you.
An army's a waste of time for one like me. Left, right.
Must be an important lesson in this. But what?
Catch! Pointy end upwards, right?
Stick 'em up! High as the clouds! Now!
I smell a leak. '101, 102, 103.
This harvest will be reaping black clouds.
152. 154. March on. Off to the front yet again.
Ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth?
In the tree!
Again, again, again.
You can pay the toll in one of two ways. In silver or in blood. See if he's hid any coin in his pockets. Or his owns.
Mercy! Have mercy!
Normally disciplined, determined to an extreme, these Nilfgaardians quickly broke rank and ran.
Deserters! Leaderless, Your Grace.
A scout reported.
Headed south, they was, towards the frontier.
Chained prisoners now sat along the dusty road. Meave stopped in front of one. He was ragged and unshaven. Flies had taken an interest in his poorly bandaged hand. Spotting the Queen,
I know you take us for savages,
began Meave, her gaze passing over several scraggy black-clads.
but fear not. We shan't flay you alive nor eat you for dinner. And when a truce is signed, you'll be sent home, where I most sincerely hope you'll stay this time.
As the Queen mounted her horse, she barely concealed a grimace.
Was in Aldersburg when it fell. Broke my heart, that did. But not complete. Now we'll take it back. Other kings could learn a thing or two from you, Your Majesty. Fight on!
The good mothers guided you to The good mothers guided you to victory.
Meve was listening to a scout's report when screams suddenly burst from the prisoner transport.
Blast it all.
Seethed the Queen, looking at the bloodied corpses. Those responsible for the deed, peasants from the quarry at Ravencloft, Meve had welcomed. It had been justice by a mob, and Meve knew it should not go unpunished. Yet at the last, ignoring her advisor's counsel, she left the former slave's fate.
Long live Meve! Long live the Queen! Long live our liberator!
Meve noticed one of her scouts, a certain Corporal Larkin, halt his mount and train his gaze on the woods.
Your Grace, I thought I heard...
Corporal Larkin saluted, then rode past the...
It's a trap! 2 arms!
Special prize. Just for you, love.
Wanna know why I got my scar?
Left, right, left. What now?
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
Let us sing the song of steel!
I shall not fail! None shall tread on us!
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Oh my.
A dram or two, a bit of soldering, a rivet or two, and it's good as new.
Should've listened to me all
Company! Forward march!
I only eat corpses, except sometimes they're quite fresh.
Have strength, my love.
Greetings. What is it?
I was hoping you'd say that.
Renna! Stop! We surrender!
The Scoia'tael fighters stood no chance against Meve. When the sounds of
Youthful you look, elf. How many summers?
27.
27. A wonderful...
I beg you, Renna. For
Mercy? You jest.
It was no ambush.
Don't play me for a fool. I know what I...
It's not you we wished to fight.
Then who killed Corporal Larkin, Werebubs?
When we saw you on the high road, we fell back and hid in the wood. We wanted you to pass. Your scout's hearing, very keen. He heard something, then spotted our tracks. You must understand.
You know you might have surrendered.
Like Dristan's commando. Is that what you mean? They laid down their arms before an Edirnian general. If we're to die, we prefer to die both.
Why are you here?
Rescue someone? No, Renna. The Nilfgaardians have realized they'll lose the war and have renounced us. With that, Demavend has loosed his hounds. They hunt our units one by one. He's offered 50 gold pieces for the head of each Scoia'tael. We wish to join with your Veth's unit, flee together as far as...
Why do you tell me all this?
Because you listen still. You've not ordered me killed, so I beg you. So few of us remain, all tired, all wounded.
Enough senseless killing for one day. Make certain I don't ever regret this
I thank you.
Meve personally
We'll lead all anew. Treat yourself.
It'll be an honor to fight at your side, Majesty.
The Lyrian corps neared As on that day, Aldersburg was under siege.
Aha! There she is!
Mockery, I don't...
I wouldn't dare. Not my words, those. To be perfectly... For I hadn't the pluck, nor resolve. And when all the
You call that...
Baldwin. Oh.
Good news.
She's now Countess Demeretta.
Oh, your lawful wife must be...
Hard to say in truth. I've not seen her in some time.
You work.
You might say so.
He's here.
Ah.
No. In Coronet. A lesson for the...
My dear, we'll sign a truce. The Blackclads will turn tail towards home. But the old board...
I'm perfectly satisfied with them, thank you. And I just wish other folk would respect them too.
You're one hell of a warrior. But you're no strategist at all. Measures are required. Preventive, preemptive, whatever the learned call it.
Enough. I'll help you take Aldersburg, but then I'll go home. But...
My scouts report a small Nilfgaardian force approaching from the...
Who?
I've no notion. Could be a mage. Devilishly unpredictable, that lot.
I shall see
Are you sure?
An understatement if I ever heard one. But I wish all this to be over.
Niamh set out after the Nilfgaardians immediately, a cavalry escort in tow. Her unmatched scouts, who had led the army through the mountains of Mahakam and Angren swamps, quickly found the enemy's trail.
This way, Your Grace. It's not far now.
That very same day, Niamh's force caught up to the mysterious black-clad unit. Lyrian riders surrounded the foe, forcing the Nilfgaardians to halt. All felt so quiet, the creaking of taut Lyrian bowstrings could be discerned.
The common tongue. Which of you knows it?
I do, Your Majesty.
You also know who you deal with, I see.
What Caldwin, Your Majesty?
At last. A Nilfgaardian name I can pronounce. So, Caldwin. It seems this...
It would,
Precisely. I've spilled enough blood. I've lost the appetite. Now tell me. You carry some...
A letter.
Urgent to the point of insanity, it must be. Who wrote it? The dear Madam Epdahi?
No, Your Majesty.
My. A letter from Emir himself. You must be an important person. A noble or...
A simple messenger.
Don't lie. I know messengers, how they travel. Alone, armorless, atop a swift...
For I often carry orders the recipients don't wish to perform, thus the escort.
Give me the letter.
I've sworn to deliver it to General Epdahi. Or to die in the...
Oh, very well. My translator shall read this letter, then return it to you. You shall break no vow.
And if I refuse?
Guess.
So be it.
Niamh's translator cracked the seal and read. And as he read, his...
Truly. And yours... Caldwin, consider this your lucky day.
And that is?
That when you hand him the letter, you will give the General my regards.
As Caldwin and escort set off towards Aldersburg, the Lyrian soldiers looked at their queen with dismay. General Epdahi had prefaced Lyria's and Rivia's invasion with a series of arrogant demands. The Nilfgaardian had been impudent, as he had felt sure he'd achieve a quick and decisive victory. Yet several months on, he too received an ultimatum. One signed by Emperor Emir var Emreis himself. The missive was concise and left no room for interpretation. With General Epdahi dead, the Nilfgaardian army descended into chaos. The kings of the north, united, took advantage and struck at the foe. Their victory was complete. The Nordling forces cheered their commanders and monarchs, but for none so vehemently as the one queen among them. Many dream of achieving the impossible. Niamh had done it. Through wit, determination, and boldness, she had thwarted the Nilfgaardian invasion. The queen would rule for many more years. Stern, yet ever just.
Ah! So a lass saved the North from the Blackclads.
That is one way to put it.
Well, I'll be damned. And a chap. She find herself one in the end?
Leave it be. Bloke's been spinning the tale all night. Story's done. Time we got some shut-eye.
Yes. Particularly as we've yet a long road before us.
Phew. Throat must be parched as old leather after all that. Except, I'm itching to know what happened to the lot of them. Reynard, Gascon.
Ah, very well. Whom shall we start with? Willem? He worked hard to regain his mother's trust and respect, took on many daring missions regardless of the risks. The lad who Nilfgaard had wielded as a tool now sowed terror along its borders, and appeared a successor most worthy of Meve. Gascon was buried with honours of the most refined yet mournful sort. His peer lords themselves bore the casket, soldiers in parade dress beat the funeral drums, and a new stone figure appeared beside the Brossard family vault, the very pointer from their crest, a ducal crown upon its head. As news of the Nordling victory filtered south, Nilfgaard's inhabitants greeted it with disbelief. Returning Imperial soldiers told stories of Lyria's cruel queen, who murdered prisoners and sullied sacred laws. They referred to her as Gvaeldet, the bloodthirsty one. With the advent of peace, tensions waned. Lyria's and Rivia's disparate races seemed to live harmoniously, side by side. The Queen pressed for new laws aimed at curbing oppression. They were a step towards more enlightened rule, yet sadly were habitually broken. And Meve? As I said, she ruled with an iron hand, not fist, and with her son's unwavering support. She could now trust him again. A great victory, greater even than Rivia's liberation. And now, if you'd allow me...
Course. Leave him be, lads. Let him get some rest. Till the time comes for the next tale.